Reclaiming your power. You know, at the very heart of valuing who you are is this beautiful process of recognizing and honoring your inherent worth, your absolute uniqueness. And that is exactly what we are exploring today, that deeply personal journey of stepping fully into the incredible woman you already are.
But before we get into all of that, let me ask you something. Have you ever made a promise to yourself, something you were just so sure about and then broken it before the day even began? I really want you to sit with that for a moment, because if you have, please know you are absolutely not alone. We've all had those heavy, quiet moments. You go to sleep completely resolved that tomorrow is the day you take that meaningful step, start the workout, write the first page, or finally set that boundary. But then morning comes and reality just feels so entirely different from the dream you had the night before.
It's a very specific, almost universal feeling. Picture it. It's 5 a.m. Your alarm is going off. The room feels incredibly cold and your bed feels, well, wonderfully warm. You can literally feel the physical sensation of your body becoming heavy. The weight of the world, the weight of your own expectations, just presses right down on you, and before you even have a chance to consciously think about the promise you made to yourself, your hand reaches out and you hit snooze. Again. Now, what's really interesting here, and honestly quite painful, is what happens next. We immediately start telling ourselves these very familiar, very harsh stories. Whispering in the dark, I'm just not a morning person. Or, I clearly just need more discipline. Or that classic line, you know what, I'll just start next week. We are so remarkably quick to judge ourselves, right? To view this hesitation as some fundamental character flaw. But I want to gently challenge that today. What if this isn't a flaw at all? What if your hesitation is actually just a highly effective protective response? That brings us to a really profound shift in perspective. Protection, not laziness. I want you to offer yourself a deep moment of self-compassion right now. Think about it. What if the real issue isn't laziness at all? What if your beautifully complex mind is doing exactly what it was designed to do, which is to protect you from pain and discomfort? If you've unintentionally taught your body to believe that a new task or a big change brings emotional pain, naturally, it's going to try to shield you. You aren't unmotivated. You are just trying to keep yourself safe. And this protective instinct, it spills right over into our daily lives through the illusion of being busy. Think about a time when you had a truly meaningful step to take, like launching a dream project or finally having a really tough conversation. Suddenly, answering mundane emails feels absolutely vital. You find yourself organizing your desk, endlessly rearranging your calendar, maybe even deep cleaning the whole house. Every little chore feels unbelievably urgent. By the end of the day, you're completely exhausted, yet you're still entirely stuck. We hide behind these small tasks to avoid the big ones. Which brings us to a word we so often weaponize against ourselves: procrastination. Usually we define it as avoiding work, but look at this reframe. Procrastination is often a feeling of powerlessness. It's the act of avoiding discomfort, rather than actually avoiding work. You aren't putting off that meaningful step because you don't care. You're putting it off because you framed the important thing as painful. And once you recognize that, you can stop blaming yourself and start gently healing that fear of discomfort. This avoidance doesn't just stop at our to-do lists either. It seeps into our hearts through the illusion of anxiety. We end up carrying the heavy weight of relationships, responsibilities, or expectations that simply no longer serve us. Deep down, you know a necessary conversation needs to happen to honor your worth. You know a boundary must be set. But because of anxiety, you let those necessary actions stretch from days into months. You stay frozen, holding on to things that are quietly draining your beautiful spirit. Let's break down exactly how this delay cycle works. On day one, you know a boundary needs to be set. Simple enough, right? But by week one, your mind is working overtime, imagining every possible negative outcome. You're picturing their disappointment, their frustration, their rejection, and by month one, you are experiencing the full emotional cost and exhaustion of the event, even though the conversation hasn't actually happened yet. Your mind is rehearsing failure, convincing you to suffer the pain of an event that, right now, only exists in your imagination. Just think about that for a second. You are spending today's energy on tomorrow's possibilities. When we allow anxiety to completely dictate our actions, we take our precious present power and invest it into an unwanted future. We end up fighting battles that haven't even occurred. Living from doubt rather than from your true purpose and inherent worth completely drains the energy you need to create the life you actually deserve. But here is where the hope comes in. We can smoothly pivot from what we are moving away from to who we are moving toward. This is all about becoming your authentic self. And guess what? Transformation doesn't require you to wait until you magically feel ready or completely fearless.
Honoring your uniqueness starts the very moment you decide to take a single step, even with the fear fully intact. It's not about controlling every emotion, it's about learning to walk alongside them toward your truth. This brings us to a vital turning point. It's a shift between two very different mindsets. Side A is the old emotion-driven loop. Do I feel like it? Side B is the new, deeply empowering perspective. Who do I want to become? We absolutely have to stop letting our temporary emotions dictate our permanent worth. Your identity isn't built on whether you feel perfectly inspired every morning. Your true, authentic identity is built through repeated, consistent choices that align with your deepest values. So how do we build that identity? Well, it's wonderfully simple, even if it's not always easy. First, you just show up consistently. A writer becomes a writer not because inspiration strikes every day, but because they keep writing. Second, you let the law of averages work for you. Not every step is going to feel rewarding, and not every attempt will be perfect. That's okay. And third, you trust that by acting in alignment with who you are becoming, progress simply becomes inevitable. You achieve your goals by honoring your worth enough to just keep showing up for yourself. I want to pause here for a second because this realization is so incredibly vital for emotional healing. Your feelings matter, but they are fuel, not the driver. Your emotions are completely valid. They are informative, and they are so real. If you are afraid, that is okay, but your deeper purpose must take the wheel. When you let your inherent worth be the driver and let your feelings just be the fuel that gives you energy and empathy, you regain control of your own beautiful journey. And embracing that unlocks the incredible power of right now. If we've spent so much of our lives visualizing what could go wrong, imagine what happens when we lovingly invite ourselves to spend that exact same energy, reminding ourselves what we are moving toward. Instead of rehearsing failure, we can intentionally focus on our inherent uniqueness and the positive, beautiful future we are actively creating. To help ground you in this, here are some gentle, comforting actions you can take. Give your goals a voice. First, consciously choose to stop replaying failure in your mind. Second, write your goals down, make them real, make them tangible. Third, read them aloud so your own ears can hear your commitments. And finally, speak life into your future. By doing these simple things, you actively shift your focus from avoidance to intentional action, deeply honoring the incredible woman you are becoming. Because every single day we face a distinct choice when it comes to choosing authenticity. On side A, we have excuses, comfort, and avoidance. It's the familiar path. But on side B, we have growth, courage, and alignment. Authenticity isn't built when things feel perfectly easy. It is forged in those quiet, incredibly challenging moments when you decide to choose your deeper values over your temporary emotions. When you choose courage over comfort, you are actively valuing exactly who you are. And that growth, it doesn't happen tomorrow. It happens at what we like to call now o'clock. Not next week. Not when you are a little less afraid. And certainly not when conditions are finally perfect. Stepping into this exact moment is an act of profound self-respect. It is the absolute highest form of honoring your worth. Now is the true and really the only place where your gorgeous growth actually happens. So I leave you with this final lingering thought. Who are you choosing to become right now? You are no longer an excuse maker. You are an action taker. You already have everything you need inside of you to take the wheel of your own life. Remember, your feelings are just the fuel, but you, your authentic, worthy, entirely unique self, you are the driver. So take a deep breath and step into your now.